Hi everyone, welcome back to another scrapbook layout video and thank you for joining me again today. This is sketch number 17 for Allison Davis's 6x6 sketch class that she has been doing. And I'm actually doing this really early. This is the almost like the week before the last week of August and I've already done this layout. But what I did was I found a bunch of photos that went really well that I wanted to use this collection for, and it worked perfectly with this sketch. So I went ahead and did the sketch early, although this video won't go up. So if I say anything in this video that sounds old, it's because I'm going to pre-schedule it. The sizes of the paper are 2 inches by 4 inches, which is again perfect for the 6x6, obviously. You know what I thought would be interesting? To do this class, and I might try it, I might not. I'm not sure if I could do 20 layouts, maybe just like the first 10 or something. I thought it would be really fun to see how far you could get starting from sketch 1 and going along and doing every sketch using one 6x6 paper pad. I thought that that would be really interesting. I might try it. Like I said, I would have to have all the photos, maybe Christmas, because Christmas is like such an easy one and there's so many sketch variations, so I might try that. Let me know below if you think how you think that would work, or if you think you would get too tired. See, that's my problem, is I don't want to get too tired of all the using the same thing over and over. But we'll talk, maybe that's something that might be fun. So if you know this sketch, you're going to see what I'm doing right here and you're automatically probably screaming at me, no, don't do that. I am completely gluing them down in the wrong spot, and it's too bad. So I was in my room one day having a great time. I was cutting these up. I found a bunch of the papers. I tried really hard to use all scraps before I cut into any full 6x6s that I had left. Made it pretty far. I think I mentioned in another video that I have more of the bluish toned ones than I do the red ones, but I'm going to make that work. Again, I cut them all to 2 inches, but I still have a little bit on the edge that is going to have to be cut off, but I don't mind. But I'm going to go ahead. I got all these glued down, then I went and cooked dinner, and I think a little while, I don't know if I realized it while I was, before I came back in the room. I might have come back in the room, just to drop something off or do something, and then noticed it and thought, darn it. These paper strips are where the photos are supposed to go. And because some of them have like the birds, I can't just turn the page upside down because that would put the birds upside down. That would really bother me. So I decided the best route would be to trim these off. And yes, this kind of wastes some 12 by 12 cardstock, but you know what? I will use those scraps, so I'm not worried about it. I have a spot just for white cardstock scraps. Anything from mounting photos, anything like that. So now, luckily, I'm so glad that I, figured that out. I was debating here whether or not to try to line up my photos with the ruler or to just go along with it. And then there was this luckily I noticed this too, was the 1/4 inch stripe strip, which I think really helps make the page. So I'm really glad I didn't forget that. But you guys know gluing down those little strips on, when it's the first thing that goes on there, can be a little complicated. So I did put the ruler, the pencil mark there, but I ended up using the T-square ruler and it worked out just fine. So that really helped. On this is the left-hand side of the layout. And I do have this photo here, which is the 6x3. And she has 2 3x3s and a 6x3 journaling piece in the middle. But I end up just doing my own thing with that, and I used that photo. I didn't want to cut it down any further because you can see I would either cut my daughter's face off or the firework off, and that would be, kind of not the point. So I left it. I am temporarily, I thought I would leave that little white cardstock at the end, but you can see where the papers didn't reach all the way, but I do trim it a hair. Now I am also gluing down the bottom stripe strip, and I actually really like the way this layout turns out. I think this is a very flexible layout. So if you didn't want to do 3x3 photos, you could very easily do 4x3. You could do 4x6 and just make it fill in the page a little more. There's lots of things that you could do. So I definitely will be using this sketch again. The other thing, so temporarily, you can see that I left, there's still, even though I trimmed it down, there's still a tiny bit of the white cardstock on the very left-hand side, and I think there's going to be just a tiny hair on the right-hand side, and I will show you in just a moment how I'm going to fix that. Now, I think this is one of the first years, I don't know if it's the actual first year, but where I realized with my camera, taking these photos with sparklers. So if you have a good setting on your camera for fireworks, then you can have somebody write a number. Like you can see, I put 2015. So we had a lot of fun that year. And actually every year since, except for this last year, I didn't do it, but it was just kind of a busy day. But yeah, if you have a good camera that has a fireworks setting, then have everybody write numbers. It took some learning, you know, because they have to move their arms. They go fast and they have to move their arms in the shape of the number or the letter, and they have to do it backwards. So there's a little bit of a learning curve, but it actually is a lot of fun. So you can see I did the year 2015, and then my daughter did that infinity symbol, and then there's some more. I think maybe the other ones I just took of, oh no, there's a couple that my husband did of a heart for me. So because I still had a tiny bit of that white, I thought, you know what, I'm going to play around a little bit and use up some more of my color peel-off stickers. And what I did, and you didn't record it, so you didn't have to sit there and watch me put each one down. I guess I could have recorded a little more, but you will see. I went red and then blue and then red and blue. So in between each one of those 2x4 strips, there's a red, then there's a blue, then there's a red, then there's a blue. To be honest, I probably wish I would have just done them all with the blue. It's not that noticeable, and by the time I'm done with the entire layout, I don't mind it. But when I first finished it, I was like, I'm not really liking that too much. And those peel-off stickers don't like to come up, just so you know. If you have some, then make sure they're in a good spot before you really push them down. So you have a little bit of playtime with those before you actually like push them down. But until then, yeah, you have a little playtime, but then they're stuck. So now I'm just mounting my photos. I'm trying to pick different papers, you know, trying to pick, you know, remember which colors are already on the layout from those pattern paper strips. Now she has 3x4 photos for this side, but I had one extra photo and they were both tiny. So this is the heart shape that I said my husband did for me with the sparklers. So I decided to, instead of having that third 3x4, I decided to just do two small, and I think they're about 2x2 inches around that. And I just kind of still like gathered them together and clustered them together on the right hand side. And these two photos, I know they're not that important. These are not the most important photos in the world, you know, but they were fun. And they were ones that I wanted to record and document. And I thought, you know, this layout, being able to cut them down to 2x2, or I mean, all the photos to 3x3, that was perfect for this layout. So there you can see how I clustered those photos together. Now I know she also has the title. I'm going to put my title in the same spot that she has it. And because there's not a whole lot of red, I'm going to make some of my own alphabet like I've been doing. I think right now I am looking for a little journaling card or a little journaling area as well to keep in that, to put in that little spot, because I do want to document what we're doing in these photos. Like I said, this could be the first year. I don't scrapbook chronological, and maybe if I did, that might help, but this might be the first year that we've learned we could play with the fireworks, although I know we've done it before, so either way, it doesn't really matter. I was looking at that cut apart sheet you guys know I love, but they were too big, and I didn't really want to cut down a 3x4 one because it would have somewhat of a border on some sides. Excuse me. And the 6x6 sheet that has the journaling cards, they were just too small. So what I'm going to do is fill that spot in, and I think that's what I'm looking for now, is kind of a subtle, I think I might actually be looking for the one, because I've used the white petite print that goes with this collection before, and I think that's what I was thinking I would use. So again, here I was also looking for more of these little journaling card cut-aparts that I could use, because I was thinking, do I end up using one? I should really have the layout next to me, shouldn't I? I'm trying to get better about that, but I'm just so not used to doing that. But I did find the white petite prints, and I trimmed out the 3x3, so I just filled it in there. Luckily, it worked. And I did think about, again, using that one of those little journaling pieces, but I decided not to. I found this little firework. I'm going to play around with this area, and I do add my journaling. It's just going to, I do journaling strips instead. So I kind of left that area for now, because until I print my journaling, I really wasn't sure how much I wanted to fill in, but I knew that I wanted to use these sparkler die cut pieces, which I really love those. I mean, obviously we're using sparklers in these photos, so that is pretty much perfect. Playing around with more of the shapes, trying to bring more of the colors around, and I'm trying to use up these die cut pieces. So again, I find myself in that situation where I love that I bought the die cut pack. I've used a lot of it. Excuse me. Oh, it's really hard. I've done a lot of voiceovers today, so please forgive my voice. But I've done I've used a lot of that die cut pack, so I'm kind of down to the nitty gritty pieces where I want to use them because I have them and they go with this collection. But at the same time, it's like that big yay with the banner. That's not something I'm going to be able to use probably at all. I should maybe put the die cut pieces that I won't use to the side somewhere. Maybe that would help. And then the ones that I know for sure I will use together. That could probably be beneficial. I might have to give that a try. The other thing I wish that they had in this collection, and I know they're trying to be real versatile, but was fireworks. And I think I might have mentioned this in another video. There are a lot of really good things on here, but they didn't add a whole lot of fireworks. There was like only one real firework on the sticker sheet, and the die cut pieces have kind of firework-like shapes, but they're kind of more round, where that's where the versatility comes in. But it's still, I kind of wish that maybe they had even sold like a separate firework only pack, kind of like they did for the winter pack, where they sold a pack of just snowflakes. Why not sell a pack of just fireworks? I think that would sell. I have used my stencil. You've seen me use my fireworks stencil in quite a few videos. So there are other things you can use if you are thinking the same thing and need more pieces. So again, I'm looking through the 6x6 pad because I'm loving this sheet with all these little cut aparts and playing around. This side here is going to bug me just a little bit. It's going to kind of be harder to fill in. I think those two photos are kind of throwing me off just a hair. Playing around, I used that Happy 4th of July on the left hand side of the page, and then I added that little hat. So I do like that little hat. I think that's a pretty cute little hat, and it's the same hat that the eagle is wearing, so I think it goes really well. And there is a little heart next to those. So then I'm adding this little word banner, and adding that to the right hand side, so that kind of mimics the same look as the left page, so it kind of brings your eye over. And then in both of the sparklers, I do add a clear star from the sprinkles pack. So these are the letters that I made. These, I do my do-it-yourself thickers where I make my own. And I will leave a link. This is probably one of my favorite alphabet packs, because this pack of alphabets, if I'm thinking it's the right one, it comes with 3 different sizes. They're all the same font, but you get 3 different sizes. So it's definitely worth the price. I'm really happy with this purchase. So like I said, I will have a link below to these, but I went ahead and glued down the word sparklers, and there are 3 layers of either 2 or 3 layers of the white cardstock scraps, so they have some dimension to them. And I just used some of the red, since there wasn't a lot of red in the pattern papers. I used some red from the pattern papers, or whatever, probably I think the petite prints. But now what I decided, just for a little bit of added interest, was to put some of these sparkly clear peel-offs along the very top and bottom of the page. And They are not 100% perfectly straight, but I get them as straight as I can, and I love it. It really just, you know, it's probably hard to see on the video, but in person, it it turns out really good. So you might be able to see that in the end. I always have trouble saying those words. End still shot photos. That's what I'm trying to say. Every time I go to say that, I mess up. But a couple things that I had left over from another page was some of these punched stars. So again, I'm just taking a scrap, adding a little bit of ink to the edges, and I added 2 on there. You could probably see already. So I thought a third one would make good because, you know, visual triangles and odd numbers are always a good thing. And then I'm also going to find this tiny little flags. So I think the very first layout I did with this collection, it's one of the first 2. I cut out these little flags from a strip of the 6x6 pattern paper, and they make great little embellishments. So I'm going to add one to the left-hand cluster and one to the very right-hand side. And it kind of goes also with that little square flag that I put above the word sparklers too. And now that that star is there by that S, I like it a lot better. I feel like it definitely fills in that space. While it's still kind of a little tiny bit awkward, it's not as bad as it was. So, and then here I'm going to shout out these awesome Doodlebug sprinkles. These are my new favorite toy. You guys are probably not surprised, but I got one in each color. I've had these for a while now by the time this video goes up, but I love these because of the fact they will go with every Doodlebug collection ever made. That's one thing I absolutely love about Doodlebug is they use the same colors over and over. So I'm going to add a red, a white, and a blue one, of course, in every, like 3 different spots around the layout. So, and I think I just used the little circle ones, but these are so fun because there's so many different shapes on there. You could really play around and have a lot of fun. And I've already used them multiple times. So definitely a great purchase. All right, guys, that is my layout. And there you can see the dimension to those letter stickers or letter words that I made, and I really like those. And there it is with my journaling strips just in that corner. I like how that box turned out. I did add some star enamel shapes around the page as well. Hope you guys like the layout, and I'll see you next time. Bye.